Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We are so delighted that you're here with us today. What are we? Let's see, red, orange, yellow. Week 3 of Faith in Action. Yeah. The light of will and imagination. And we want you to know that your soul is welcome here, and we're going to sing about that together.
That's right. You ready? Let's do it. Here we go. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome. All souls are welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time, right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time, right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul. You know your soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 Your soul is welcome, everybody. Come on, keep your hands in there. It's welcome here. My soul is 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 welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Good morning, Reverend Deborah. Good morning, everyone. Your souls are welcome here, no doubt.
Good morning, Reverend James. It's great to be on the platform with you today. And we greet you in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred, and in the warm and loving energy of this community Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, stone circles, and of course the beautiful temples of nature, because we know there is no space that God does not grace. And if you're with us for the very first time today, either online or with us here in the sanctuary, we especially want to welcome you because we know that you are not here by accident. Every one of us is here by divine appointment. And we're always so excited to be together. And of course, the excitement continues when you silence your electronic devices. And please refrain from flash photography during the service.
Well, at this time, let's take a moment to commune with the presence of pure being. As we remind ourselves and one another that indeed we come from this magnificent source that is known by so many different names. But most of all, it is that divine love that permeates our entire existence. It is that energy that binds all of us together. It's that energy that heals and uplifts and helps transform us from where we are to where we can be when we are at our highest and best. So we embody this energetic field of love in every action that we take, every thought we have, and all the words that we speak. And as we do, we become a walking embodiment of that which has sent us, the force, the Spirit of the living God. And with this energy, we know that there can be nothing that can be against us, and there can only be that divine love that is for us in all ways. And for this and so much more, we're grateful and thankful as we go forth doing our part to anchor the all love in our life and in our world. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Well, we have a very important mission here at Spiritual Life Center. I invite you to join in with me as we affirm it together. To transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we do so as we carry out these 5 basic universal principles to the best of our ability so that we indeed are bringing forth new possibilities in our world. Let's say them together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action.
And of course, around here, there's always a lot of action. Have you had the opportunity to look through the silent auction items yet? They're over in the chapel. The events committee has extended the silent auction to next Sunday, the 23rd at 1 p.m., and that gives you ample opportunity to either look at them in person or go online, and there's the photographs and the descriptions. There's 33 items being offered, and you can also see what you can do is you can also be sure to check out the Tower of Wine raffle, which features 21 wines from around the world. So there's a lot to be looked at and a lot to be bid on. And we know that we're having lots going on, but we can also have ways to help you bid and make payments before the end of the year. So for more details, go online or find Elaine Laroa. She's in the back right now, and talk with her about your bid for the raffle.
And we have the cabaret coming up, and to share something about that, our one and only Paula Mandela is going to bring it up. Yes, you may.
Or I can shout. I'm not really good at shouting. So, well, I can tell you there's a lot of fun brewing in the cauldron for this cabaret, so I hope you've got your tickets. Yes. Registration is online. All the participants are busy and the excitement is building, so it's going to be a fantastic evening. It is on Friday, October 28th from 7 to 9, and there will be goodies in the courtyard at 6 o'clock. So I hope you get your tickets today if you haven't got them already. And that's what I have to say.
Well, thank you so much. Well, we have a number of other activities going on, including on November the 5th, Spiritual Life Center will be hosting the National Hindu Exhibit. And this exhibit is a national traveling one, which we are honored to have come to us right at this location. So we're going to send out flyers to the entire Sacramento region and interfaith leaders and the community. The word darshana is a Sanskrit word that means viewing the sacred. The entire exhibit consists of 24 panels on all aspects of Hindu culture, history, religion, and contributions to society. There are approximately 20 panels that will be brought to be on display here at Spiritual Life Center, and the exhibit has already traveled to many major cities throughout the United States, so we're grateful to have us here hosting that on November the 5th.
And so, James, we agreed not to do a center update, but I lied to you.
Okay, well,
Okay.
go for it.
So, and the reason I lied to you is because this is October, and you came to us in October 10 years ago. This is your 10th anniversary.
Okay. We said let them eat cake, and so we are going to have cake. Thank you very much.
And thank you. So let us all stand and give James our blessing. Reverend James, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, we behold God's love as you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, you did get me on that one.
So
I'll be ready for next
surprise
service.
in the second service.
Yes.
Yeah. So remember, we have lots of things going on at SLC, including our weekly small groups. So discovering all the happenings at SLC, you can go to our website. And of course, if you're here on site, you can go outside, read the bulletin board, go chat with the lovely ladies at the hub.
And at this time, I invite any of our board of members that are here, as well as our chaplains, to please stand. And the chaplains are always wearing the white stoles, so you can identify them, and they hold the high consciousness for our community throughout the week, but specifically on Sundays, they're here to pray with you. If you have a particular challenge that you want to have prayed over so you can rise above it, see it from a higher point of view, or simply have something in your life you want to celebrate. So they'll be available to pray with you immediately after the service in the courtyard. So we thank the chaplains for their contribution to our community. And our board members are doing the very important work behind the scenes that often folks do not see, but they bring their time, their talent, and their skill to help us move forward as a community and to navigate the various challenges sometimes we face, in our world as a nonprofit organization. But they bring a lot of their own consciousness and ideas to us, and they're available to answer questions if you have any questions of our board members. And so we thank them for their service to Spiritual Life Center.
We'd love to greet our newcomers, and in a moment we would ask you to raise your hand. But first we want you to know there are many ways to become connected at Spiritual Life Center. You can get more information about small group events, classes by filling out the welcome card. Now that welcome card is available online, and you can go to our website, fill it out, and submit it, and we will get back to you. If you are here in person, raise your hand. We will give you the card. You can fill it out and take it to the welcome table where there is a very special gift and a warm welcome for you.
And if anyone's here for the very first time, I invite you to raise their hand. Any first-timers here this morning? All right, so that we're here knowing each other. So at this time, I just invite folks to greet a friend or someone that you don't know and just say that you are marvelous and glad you are here.
Stay standing and join us in singing our Faith in Action song.
Yes.
I got the power.
The world debut.
Yes. Oh, is it? Oh,
Just
cool.
remember those words. I got the power. Because why? I got the power. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, shining, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, shining, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. By cosmic design, audaciously fine, I align with my divine identity. So let there be light, shining, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. A pure heart and mind, intentions refine, I align with my divine identity. Whoa, let there be of spirit in me. Let there be light. All light shining in the presence and power of spirit in me. Let there be light. All light shining in the presence and power of spirit in me. Let there be light. All light shining in the presence and power of spirit in me. Whoa, yeah, yeah, yeah. I got the power. Put your hands together. I got the power. Do you got the power? I got the power. Ooh, I got the power. I got the power to live faithfully. I got the power to forgive and release. I got the power to breathe life to my dreams. I got the power to create reality. I got the power to compare and contrast. I got the power to erase my hurtful past. I got the power to choose a direction. I got the power to question my perception. I got the power to be stronger than before. I got the power to step through that door. I got the power to honor our life. I got the power to be peace and harmonize. I got the power to break the chains of hate. I got the power to shimmer and dazzle. I got the power. So let there be light. Thank you. Please be seated.
If you didn't know it before, you know it now. You got the power. Well, you know, as we go through our Spiritual Life Center's Faith in Action series every year, we have artists that present a pictorial representation of the topic for the week. And today we have two artists. We're going to start today with Louise Vidori. And she's the light of will, is I guess that's the topic of your, all right. So here's what she wrote. Recently, a gentleman requested I create a personalized artwork for him. When interviewing him, I asked why he had chosen me to create him. His response was he had seen an artwork of a bridge that I had created. He didn't remember the name, and when he quizzed me, it turned out to be the piece I am presenting this morning, Transformation Bridge. I then asked, why Transformation Bridge? His response, I have never seen anything like it. It just came alive. It lit up. Of course, I loved the compliment, but when I read chapter 3, The Light of Will, the power of choice, commitment, and willingness, it really set me to thinking. Choice. We all know we have free will to choose. Our choice shifts or sets in a shift in consciousness according to the author, Lina Martella-Whitsett. We catch hold of it. We sense its potential, and it sets us on a path toward fulfillment. But then we need commitment. Commitment becomes deliberate, intentional action, and wholehearted devotion to the path we have chosen. Discipline in honoring that commitment and harnessing our spiritual power. And willingness is the fuel of spiritual power. Willingness is a state of allowing our ability to cooperate with, rather than control the flow of divine ideas, according to the author. Allowing leads us to surrender to the great good or God. I use the words interchangeably. A quote I read this morning before writing, I use my will to create the best possible life for myself and others. When we do this, we become the transformation bridge. We just lit up and we come alive in a special way. I think we said we just light up. Light up. We come alive. So thank you, Louise, the light of will. And now we have our second artist for the week, and this is Mary Roberts. And he painted on something on imagination. So here's what Mary wrote. Divine imagination is at the core of all inventions and curiosity. When the Divine Audacity book was chosen, I was issued a challenge and encouraged to do a painting for Faith in Action. I reluctantly agreed to try. This became the largest painting I've ever done. I started to read early, and imagination got my attention. It was out, fires had started to take off. This picture flowed into my mind. We can use divine imagination to address our water shortage. With this imagination, we can invent or discover ways for water to flow in California. I imagine rain pouring down and water being helpful. We can take our water shortages to divine imagination. We can address our rain shortages. We can have water. Mary Roberts, imagination. So thank you very much, Mary, and thank you, artists, for your imaginative, creative work for our Faith in Action for week number 3.
Beautiful. So I invite us all now to settle into our chairs, drop into that beautiful heart space, and let's speak together our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now we're going to sing this beautiful chant. In the light, I am as God created me.
I invite you to take a nice deep breath, and let's take that divine will and imagination into this next song. Take a nice deep breath and settle in. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. Please join us in singing. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. I am, I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory of God, I am. In the light, in the
light, in the love, and in the glory. We indeed are how the presence of God has created each and every one of us. Let us connect with that truth now. And we take a moment to not only connect with that truth, but connect to the here and now as we connect to the ground of the being beneath us, the floor. Simply connect with that space. And take a long, slow breath through your nose and releasing through your mouth. Lengthen your spine. And breathe out equally. And recognize that you are grounded now in that presence. During this time of meditation and communion with the presence, we simply watch our breath. And as we do, we draw a slight smile to our lips. And we allow our body to bask in the sensation, the joy, and the happiness that we are. We feel it, knowing that we are already experiencing every aspect of that joy and happiness that there is in this world. And we have great cause to enjoy that even in the future. Right here, right now. We set aside our concerns and feel a sense of contentment, knowing that the Spirit of the living God has provided all that we need. And then with the felt sensation of how this joy and happiness feels in our body, imagine. Use that power of imagination and send that same vibration and energy to an individual that comes to your mind. Or it can be all spiritual beings in the world. And then imagine that one person in particular, or everyone for that matter, feeling that same full-bodied happiness and contentment that you are feeling in this moment. And from the sensation of happiness, allow yourself to feel as though you are also free from anything other than comfort, contentment, wholeness. And still breathing into that slight seen or unseen smile. You are completely enveloped in this spiritual comfort and contentment. With your whole body, imagine you drop into the sensation of how good this feels. And you wish that same feeling for all others everywhere. May everyone on the planet feel free of any discontent, pain, or suffering. And as you send out this wish, feel the energy of that wish fulfilled coming back to you. Coming back to you as your happiness and your sending of happiness to others. So imagine seeing all other beings joyous, happiness. And thanks to your willingness and imagination, it brings you joy as well. Rest in this truth, feeling completely full of this joy and sending it to the world. And may our world feel that joy as you feel it. Imagine a world where everyone is connected to it. And we see our entire world shifted and changed. We imagine this as we feel it. And we give thanks that it is done. So it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
I met God's will on a Halloween night. He was dressed as a bag of leaves. It hid the braces on his legs at first. His smile was as bright as the August sun when he looked at me. And as he struggled down the driveway, it almost made me hurt. Will don't walk too good. Will don't talk too good. He won't do the things that the other kids do in our neighborhood. I've been searching, wandering, thinking, lost and looking all my life. I've been wounded, jaded, loved and hated, wrestled wrong and right. He was a boy without a father and his mother's miracle. I've been reading, writing, praying, fighting. I guess I would be still. Yeah, that was until I knew God's will. Will's mom had to work 2 jobs. I'd watch him when she had to work late. And we'd all laugh like I hadn't laughed since I don't know when. Hey Jude was his favorite song. At dinner he'd ask to pray. And then he'd pray for everybody in the world but him. I've been searching, wandering, thinking, lost and looking all my life. I've been wounded, jaded, loved and hated, wrestled wrong and right. He was a boy without a father and his mother's miracle. I've been reading, writing, praying, fighting. Guess I would be still. Yeah, that was until I knew God's will. Before they moved to California, his mother said she didn't think he'd live. And She said each day that I have him, well, he's just another gift. I never got the chance to tell her that her boy showed me the truth. In crayon red on notebook paper, he'd written me in God love you. I've been searching, praying, wounded, jaded. I guess I would be still. Yeah, that was until I met God's will on a Halloween night. He was dressed as a bag of leaves.
Each way I turn, I meet God's will, divine will. Divine will is messy. Divine will is beautiful. I do not fear divine will. I do not resist divine will. When I meet divine will, I am safe. I am calm. I am sustained. I am supported. I am wise. I am known. When I meet divine will, I know God. I know mercy. I know grace. I know joy. I know peace. I know love. Every way I turn, I meet God's will, arms open wide. I choose to follow. I commit. I commit my heart. I am willing. God's will becomes my will. I follow my call. I am not alone. We are one when I meet God's will. Okay, drag out the Kleenex. God's will. A couple of weeks ago, I received an email from Paula saying that, and it was accompanied by a song, and she was saying that she was thinking of using it for today, and would I be interested in adding a scripture or a poem at the end? Or maybe she suggested I write another poem for it. Now understand, I don't much like writing poetry these days because those things are living entities and they take over your life. One gets loose in my head and it won't leave me alone. I would like to say that poems are like puppies, all bouncy in joy and wanting to play, but no. To me, a poem is a cat that climbs onto your lap and then headbutts you until you do what it wants. You feed it, or you play with it, or you write it down. And once you cave and you go for it, you almost get done. And then it crawls under the bed and leaving you high and dry for like 2 days. Until 2 a.m., whereupon it pounces out and says, let's work now, let's finish me now. And then, once the poem is done, it just sits there on the page all smug and self-satisfied. So no, Paula, I'm not going to write that. I'm not going through that. Well, so much for willful restraint. Within an hour, an idea was pouncing on me, and there I was trying to translate it into words. And it didn't work. Now, partly because of my resistance, and partly because what was going in my head didn't fit with this song. So, okay, fine. I took a breath and I let go. And then the poem started to come through. Now, the one that didn't work was really appropriate to the situation because it started like this. My will is restless. Let's go for a walk. And then off into the story of my will straining at the leash and breaking loose and causing havoc and trampling over people, knocking things over, being so very self-centered and not accomplishing anything. It occurred to me that this might be a message. So I set the intention to not fight the process of birthing the poem, and it actually came fairly quickly. And it was only a little bit smug and self-satisfied when it was done. Now, this all sounds exhausting, doesn't it? And it is. But it made me laugh. And this whole process gave me the opening for my talk. So it all worked out. But look what happened. I was willful. I said, no, I don't wanna. And then I softened. And then when I engaged the process, that's when my imagination blossomed. Will in itself is an interesting attribute. We need will to activate our lives. We need it to move around and to interact. But when it becomes too strong, we lose sight of our true selves and of what really matters. You know, I like the way that Reverend Linda has structured this book that we're studying because she gives 3 aspects for each power. Because the whole point here of this particular study is to recognize and understand and access, engage these different powers or attributes. And not every power will appeal to every person. And most likely, each of you will be drawn to 1 or 2 in particular. This is good because trying to do all of them at once is, well, actually, you just can't do all of them at once. It's like I am really attracted to divine order and divine imagination. You will find yours, and you might just find one. But each attribute is really important because it grounds you in its core. They all do the same thing. Every one of them does the same thing. And so it grounds you into the real you. It gives you a tangible concept to reach for when you face challenges. A 12 powers practice is very practical, and it can be used by anyone of any religion, spiritual practice, or even in a secular form of reference. But let's get back to will. It's important that we understand the difference between willfulness and willingness. Now think about the word willfulness. It means you are full of will, wanting to do it your own way or not do it at all. And you can't see any other way of doing it, or you can't see another way of interacting with people. Now, it's not that I was a willful child, but had I been, I would identify with this quite well. Standing there, digging your heels in, refusing to see any options or let anyone tell you what to do, refusing to listen to people or to God. And when I think about it, though, I also wonder how much of my personal behavior, my so-called willfulness, or pure willfulness, was me not wanting to follow the rules for girls in the 50s and 60s. How much was my personal will and how much was my spiritual will guiding me to be more than my family saw for me or thought I was capable of? I mean, I can be totally willful. We all can. We would all love to have our own way. At least I think we would. But I've discovered, and maybe you have too, that my personal will doesn't always have my best interest in mind. It just wants what it wants. And that sort of will blinds us. This little fit of willfulness over not wanting to engage with the poem was silly. And when I backed off and said, okay, I will give it a go, I made a choice to set my personal will down. And then once I started writing, I was committed to seeing it through. And so in that process, I became willing. Choice, commitment, willingness. That's the order in which Reverend Linda presents the aspects of divine will. But as I went through that little episode, it seemed to me that on some level, I needed a bit of willingness to break out of my little self-will jail in the first place. And I mention this only as a reminder that nothing in spiritual practice is linear, and none of it shows up in discrete little packages. Part of spiritual practice is to learn to recognize the phases and seasons that we cycle through on an hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. Spiritual practice is a process. It is not a destination. And I say that to people once in a while, and they just look at me like, I want it to be a destination. And I use this adventure with writing a poem as my example because it's simple. Most of us can relate to the little things in life that we resist. But we all know that life presents us with all sorts of situations to work through: partners, jobs, children, relationships, even our relationship with ourselves. And Mary Roberts today shared her own story of her reluctance, her personal will saying, I'm not good enough. I'm not a real painter, or I'm not a real artist. And then that softened, and finally that gave way to the imagining of that painting, the one that she shared with us today. Hers wasn't silly. It was a very deep movement from I can't to yes, I can, to I will, to I did. We can be willful or willing. As simple as that seems, this example shows how we would get so wound up about the seemingly smallest thing. It's just a few words on a piece of paper for me to come up here and say. I watched myself go from no to yes in a couple of hours. Other situations, of course, might be more complicated and take longer. But honestly, no matter what it is, the feelings are the same. It's a matter of intensity and urgency. That poem says that divine will is messy yet beautiful. That beauty comes when you move out of the personal will into just a spiritual or divine will. And when you make the choice to cooperate, that is when you open to the activity of imagination. If you're not in resistance, you're open to possibilities. Reverend Linda writes, imagination is our powerful capacity to picture what can be. We begin to feel the effects of imagination even before it becomes an idea in our head. There's an impulse, a movement towards something. Even if you don't know what it is, you can feel it. Imagination is a portal through which we create our reality. It is extremely powerful, and so the way we use our imagination is very, very important. Reverend Linda assigned the aspects of conception, vision, and embodiment to imagination. So this is how I imagine this works. In divine mind lies all potential, all possibilities. And potential is a high vibration and frequency. This potential, this energy is what we feel before we even have an idea. You might even say, I'm going to do this thing before you even really kind of know what it is. Some of you have that experience. So pretend that the energy is hovering just above your head. There's a concept there. And we conceive and nurture that thought until it blossoms into a vision. And so it comes down into our head and it becomes an idea. And then we take action and we do things to move it forth. And that is where hang on. My teleprompter has gone completely berserk. We embody the vision. It comes into the world through us as the light that we are. That's what the embodiment is. And by the way, just as an aside, I want to assure those, some of you do not see pictures in your head. I've had people say, can't really follow a guided meditation. That is normal. Not every single person can see pictures in their head. They see things other ways or they experience things other ways. There's nothing wrong with you if you don't see pictures in your head. But imagination is powerful and it shapes everything in our lives. So imagination, just like will, needs to be cultivated, paid attention to. We need to be aware of how we imagine because a lot of our imagining happens very unconsciously. If you have to drive somewhere, you might immediately envision that the traffic situation or what it will be. Maybe you see the freeway as a parking lot. But you can also easily envision it as a true free way of getting to your destination easily and gracefully. You know, we imagine all the time, we can't help it, which is why there is so much emphasis on being present and on mindfulness. Otherwise, we just continually imagine ourselves in a quandary after quandary. Right use of imagination is coupled with right use of will. And may I have that slide? Thank you. So this is how this is in the book. It says there's choice, commitment, willingness, conception, vision, and embodiment. And really, you can draw a line between each one of those, and those pair up very nicely. But as I was saying, is that this is not linear. So, you choose, you're ready for conception. And then you have your choice, the vision comes, the embodiment flows out of willingness. But, as I said, none of this is fluid. And none of these work in order or alone. And this is probably much more like it can be very messy, but beautiful if you give your spiritual self to the process. Thank you, Christina. All the powers we encounter all of the powers that we will encounter during this 7-week period offer two modalities. There's the personal power and the spiritual power. Personal will has its place in our lives. It moves us through this world. But when it gets too personal, it gets in our way. The same is true for imagination. Personal imagination has its place as well, but it can be limiting. But spiritual imagination will send you soaring. None of this is about eradicating the personal power, though. It never is. We always need the personal part of it. This is about discovering and learning to use, activate, and access the spiritual potential held within each one of us. That's what this is really about. By seeing an aspect as a power and naming it, we give ourselves markers to follow or to hold on to. Naming will as divine, naming imagination as divine, takes us out of our everyday lives, our everyday selves, and it allows us to choose, envision, and embody the very best of who we are. It's okay to have a little resistance in our lives. Sometimes that helps us make better choices. Imagining the worst sort of comes naturally to most human beings. And neither one of these are wrong. But we know that life flows better and we are happier when we stay present and use our imagining skills to embody spirit and light. And we let our light shine. This is why we are all here, to rediscover our inner light and to shine that into the world. When we follow God's will, when we activate God's imagination, nothing can hold us back. Nothing, not even a bushel, can cover our light. So, when you know divine will and divine imagination, we are one. And so it is. And of course, each week during Faith in Action, we have an affirmation. And let's say this together. I am willing, I imagine, I am a living expression of the union of mind and heart. My light shines for all to see.
Thank you, Deborah, for covering today's topic of will and imagination. And the beat goes on next week, as I'll be talking about zeal and power. And you already got the song. We just need to bring the music. Just bring the message along with the zeal and power. So we're going to sizzle with zeal, as somebody said, with our history of unity. Well, just want to let you know that if you are online and would like to support Spiritual Life Center, you can do so by texting SLC Love to 44321. That's SLC Love to 44321. Or you can go to our website, slcworld.org, and give in other ways, including by mail. Just click the donate tab on our website, and you can send funds and anything else that you want to send, but mostly money. It works really well when you do that to support Spiritual Life Center. And if you want to spread the message of Spiritual Life Center, whatever platform you're on, just like us, comment, share, subscribe if it calls for that. We want to just make the world know about who we are, what we're about, and what we can become when we're at our highest and our best. At this time, I invite you to take your gift or your love offering if you're here to give today. And if you're not giving today, if you've given online already, we just know that you're in the flow of a principle that says that whatever you give out comes back to you in so many different ways. So as you take your gift or love offering, just symbolically raise it to the heavens, which is always expansion, expanding good. And let's affirm our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there's despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, ever joy. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace. Oh, divine master, source of light in all, grant that I may not so much see, to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to be loved. For it is in giving that we receive. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, Lord. It is in dying that we are born to eternal life. instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace.
That's the power of imagination.
Let us be an instrument of all those powers. And in this moment, we bless those who have been in support offering, knowing He's not only going to bless this community so we can be a place for those who wish to grow and develop spiritually, but also an opportunity to spread this consciousness throughout the planet in which we live. For the Spirit of the living God needs us to shine our light, to be those instruments of peace and depth. See this all. Bless those who have blessed us, knowing that we are all blessed when one is blessed. We acknowledge those who have left prayers in the prayer box, recognizing that we all go through challenges in our life, but no matter what the challenge or seeming problem may be, that there's always a divine and perfect answer awaiting us. For this presence of God that we turn these challenges over to only knows divine and perfect solutions. And so we simply let go, let God be expressed through ever the situation that we're going through or growing through. It is already done in the mind and heart of God. As we like to say, before we even know what to ask for or pray for, Spirit has the answer. So we accept it willingly and joyfully. And we say so in the name and the nature of the Spirit of the living God. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And with that, let us affirm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was going to say something, but I'm going to let it go. Let us affirm our light, our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And that's the truth.
Can I go now?
This church. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God.
Peace and blessings, and have a great day and a great week.
I love her little ad-libs. It's coming together. Got it? Let's do it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let there be light, all light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, all light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, all light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, all light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. By cosmic design, audaciously fine, I align with my divine identity. So let there be light, all light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, all light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. A pure heart and mind, intentions refined, I align with my divine identity. Let there be light, all light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, all light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, all light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, all light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I got the power. I got the power. Ooh, yeah, yeah. I got the power. Power. I got the power. I got the power to live faithfully. I got the power to forgive and release. I got the power to bring life to my dreams. I got the power to create reality. I got the power to compare and contrast. I got the power to erase my hurtful past. I got the power to choose a direction. I got the power to question my perception. I got the power to be stronger than before. I got the power